Let's start with the immediate thing, Cohlton Schultz. Tough final, but talk about that match and what your thoughts are from it.
Well, I really liked what Cohlton said. He's always, again, beyond his age and years. I think that, he recognizes that that's part of the game that heavyweights fight through. There is a time there where mass and power and force all come together, and it's hard to get that score. It's hard to get the angle that you need. And both guys, I think, put some points on the board, and especially Cohlton throughout this tournament. And I think they both had an idea that they would not settle it that way tonight.
Did you see any opportunity there for Cohlton, or was the guy just not?
He went through most of his matches that we all looked at. Went through that same kind of cycle that he showed there. We really felt that the advantage that we had was that Cohlton's defense is so good, and that there wasn't even an attempt made by him, I felt, when I saw on top. So we felt good about that. It's just like he said, who goes down first? And so I think that comes down to it.
Got a bronze medal today from Nutter. I mean, talk about that kid, because this obviously was the peak of his career so far.
Well, he makes that transition about year 2 of high school to full-time Greco. And between that triangle there of Matt Lindland and Rob Herman and Lucas Stelt, and then his father, I think you put that together, those actual 4 members there, they made a decision. And tonight we were the beneficiaries of that decision to go into that. Rob took him to Austria, or Sweden, I guess, that first one in the fall. And from that point on, I think he was hooked. He'd gone out to training center right before that, and I think that Matt Lindland and Rob, they talked about it, and between that, and then I think Jamie came in and tied the loop together, and again tonight was that culmination of those 3 years now or plus that created that. So hats off to everybody, and going back to Cohlton also, I mean, we've got Momir Petrovic that is not with our staff anymore, but was one of those people that brought him in at that time. And so between, looking at all those people that brought this in, and tomorrow night we get another one that kind of jumped over at Halverson and now at MSU with Peyton. And I think those 3 are the ones that have put in this time, that turned to Greco, and there was a payoff. And there's going to be another payoff tomorrow night for Peyton.
What does a weekend like this do for Alston in his career arc?
I was sitting there thinking about that tonight, and I hope what it does is I hope that he feels now that this work, it's paid off. He's got something around his neck, but I hope he also has a weight on his shoulders that he says, now I'm ready to do more. And if that happens for him, then it's been awesome. Everything works then.
So you got a guy going tomorrow, Peyton,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Had a great morning session.
Wow.
Really showed something there.
You go into a group where you start in a pool of 64, and then you wrestle through it. And he put a full day's work in getting into the semis, and so I think that's another one of those things that, we just got through talking about. I think there's going to be a payoff for this. There's going to be more down the road for this young man. And no matter what happens tomorrow night. But I really do. I think he comes back and he wrestles like he did today. And wow. But, Alston, that you get taken down the way he did, and the back, his arm put across his back, which should have been stopped. But it gets put across his back. He goes to his back, comes off of that, comes to his feet. 18 seconds later, he fixes it. That's the fight that we're looking for in all of our guys. And this team has been great. Coaches, hats off to all those guys. They brought people here that was ready to compete. So great job on their part.
And Gary, your guys that are winning in this tournament, they haven't won on like passivities and, you know, who gets the last point on the board. They're winning with points and
Yes.
exciting stuff.
That's it.
Do you feel like maybe this is like a corner turning moment for
I
the
hope
program?
it is. We feel that we're getting there, and we feel that we're getting stronger. And I know from top to bottom that we feel good about those things. But at the end of the day, it will come back to everybody that's scoring points is doing well. It's that simple. We've got to score points, and we've got to finish out matches. And you hit it. We are scoring points right now, and the ones scoring points are putting it in their hands. And we've been talking about that from top to bottom. I know that Coach Lindeland put that forth. Our ability to counter now, to come back on the backside of scores. You know, the best time to score is right after a score or right after an attempted score. And our guys are really starting to do that. And if we can just continue down this road, we do have athletes that will not only compete, but they will medal. They will medal.
Parterre defense is kind of, at least from my perspective, over the last couple of years, it seems like that's been something that's bit the United States in the butt here in the last few years. You guys haven't given up points.
It looked pretty good today.
Yeah.
It looked pretty good today. And it looked good yesterday. So I think that's another one of those things that we're not in that same boat that we were, where every time we went down, we gave up one tech this weekend. And so hats off to these guys. These guys are, hopefully they are the corner turners, and they're going to give us some momentum now.
Awesome, Coach.
Thank you guys.
both.
Thank you both.